Hey, thanks for checking out the Creo KTM YouTube channel. We're going to be posting a lot of content to this Creo channel. New for the 23-24 season. We're just going to be going really heavy on YouTube. That's going to be where you're going to see the most content being posted, specifically full length, long duration type video. Um, I've been doing a lot of these voiceovers and talking about riding as I'm going. And I kind of wanted to really do a deep dive into like a 15-minute moto. And today, in this video, we're at Jeremiah Gilliland's private track just outside of Kansas City. I'm on a 2023 KTM 250S XF. A couple notes about the bike. We're running ETS race fuel, MX18 to be specific. I have a GET ECU that's been programmed by 405 Mods. I'm running a pretty radical gearing setup. So stock, I believe, is 1352. I'm sorry, 1351, and we're running a or no, let's see, it's 1451 and we're running a 1352. So that gives us a 4.0 final drive. And the whole purpose of that is getting the bike to really excel off of the bottom. I'm trying to do as much second, third, and fourth gear as possible. I want to get further up into the gearbox as I can. A lot of that is these bikes, although the stock KTM 250F comes with a lot of top-end power, we typically race arena cross and supercross, so I have the bikes geared for that. Although I'm riding an outdoor track today, like I've gotten really used to that gearing setup, plus the MX18 with our GET ECU, again by 405 Mods. And really, that's all that is done to the bike. I mean, sure, I've got ODI bars, Pro X rotors. Those are aftermarket. They're a little bit sturdier than the stock units. But for the most part, like the internals of this bike are completely stock. This motorcycle that I'm riding today only has about 22. Yeah, I think I remember it had 22.2 hours whenever I fired it up on this morning. So let's kind of dive into the track here. As you can see, good Missouri topsoil. It looks a little light. I had to adjust the exposure on this video to bring the dirt color up, and a lot of that is because of the cloud cover tends to mess with the GoPro. In front of me right now is Dawson Cobb. It's one of the most talented riders from the Kansas City area, and I always love getting to ride with him, and jumping in behind him is a lot of fun. I saw him hitting that left-handed corner right there earlier. I rode a moto and I took a break and set off to the side and watched him do that, and I was like, dude, I don't think I could ever go that fast through that corner, and perhaps I was, but it was just really fun to get to see him do that. Threw a little style off this big boy jump here in the middle, which I was like, hell yeah, dude, got that on film. So the bike setup today, I did 13 pounds of air in the front tire and then 12.5 in the rear. Although there's a couple hard pack spots, for the most part, I wanted the tire to be a little bit more inflated to really excel in the fluffier berms. Like this corner here, the dirt really bermed up really well and was extremely fluffy. This one was a lot of fun, felt very Euro. I would jump in and like brake check and do a lot of body movement at one time to try to get the bike to pivot. All right, so really getting towards the task at hand. This corner here, I was in third gear. I click up into fourth here, or stay in. Actually, I think I stayed in third. Click down into second. Hit this roller, kind of scrub that little jump there, and then jump off to the left side there. Do a little bit of an oppo to try to set up for that corner. This corner was really difficult to get to the inside there, so I was shorting that little double there. The main line was definitely going to the inside, but I preferred the outside. Right here I slowed down. I remember to check my watch and see how long I had ridden, and it was only about 5 minutes, which I was fine with, but I just really wanted to know, like, where am I at on my moto, because I wanted to do 15 minutes. So I'm 1/3 of the way in, and it kind of gives me a good sense of how hard do I need to push for the rest of the moto to complete the next 10 minutes. This double is really hard to time. It's really deceiving. It was really easy to underjump it as opposed to overjump, and that's because you want to scrub and stay low and get the bike back to the ground. But the thing is you're cornering left, and the dirt is really washy coming into it because it's kind of pebbles on top of hard pack. And in those situations, you really have to keep your knees tight up against the bike and almost point your toes inward to keep from, if the front wheel does slip, it'll prevent you from like dabbing your foot and really making a lot of contact there. This track as a whole is extremely flowy, and the soil, although it is what we would call Missouri topsoil or black dirt, and it's dry today, so it doesn't look very black, but this is considered black soil. It almost rides like a sand track because the corners berm up so much. It's really deceiving because, like, coming into this corner, I'm standing all the way until about right here, which is like 65-70% of the way through the corner. And you have to really ride the bike different. You don't want to get set down super early. Just like you don't in sand, you want to stand up a lot instead of staying seated. This double here was, I actually worked with my little buddy Kobe Hughes over that jump. Kobe took a lot of time off from riding, and now he's back on a KTM 105, and he does a lot of the jumps, but that one there, it's extremely peaked out, and although the GoPro, of course, doesn't do it any justice, that jump's pretty large, and the jump face really does all of the work for you. And he wasn't hitting it. Again, he took a lot of time off, just started coming back riding earlier this year, and I think it was later this lap, I tried towing him in on it, and I don't think that he quite understood that it went, because I was waving at him, with my left hand as I'm going up the face of the little tabletop before it. And I was trying to get him to just jump that jump with me and match my pace. But I don't think he really understood that that's what I was trying to do, which, no worries. We're in the middle of we're 8 minutes into a 15-minute moto here. It's hard to think about that kind of stuff when you're a super mini rider. So he was taking the inside here, which was a really good line. I preferred the outside. Obviously, I'm at a 250F, so I'm going to, have more pull. So check this out. I'm going to cut inside. So I'm actually have my hand off of the bars. I'm waving him up to try to match my speed here. And I did a very consistent, really smooth jump right there. Check him out. Okay, so later in the moto, I worked with him on that section. It was like, all right, dude, let's do this. I got you here. So yeah, I flagged him off to the side of the track and was like, dude, follow me, I'll tow you in on it. Just hop in behind me and match my speed. And if you're a newer rider and you're trying to figure out how to do bigger jumps, just go ask a pro rider to tow you in off of it. And I mean, everybody will always say yes. It's really exciting to get to help other riders get better. And in this situation, Kobe's my little buddy. I wanted him to, because he was doing the rest of the jumps, I really wanted him to get to feel comfortable. And like, everybody knows that, like, whenever you're on the way home from the track and there was that one jump that it's like, oh, dude, I didn't get to do that jump. And I didn't want him to feel that. So I stopped after this session and, just towed him in over it. Again, like I said, if you're a new rider, just ask a faster rider to tow you in over a jump. And what that means is, think if you had like a towing strap attached from the guy in front of you to yourself, you're going to go the exact same speed that they are. So on a jump like this one here, you know, the tow rider, the guy in front, is just going to do super straight, super narrow, nothing fancy, very consistent throttle for you to just match that speed. That's the easiest way to learn a larger jump, is to just jump in behind somebody. Of course, the real big jumps, you know, guys like Tyler Berryman and, you know, that type of rider, those guys, I mean, they're just so accustomed to doing big jumps. They can hit pretty much anything at any given time. They just have the skill for it. This right-hander here, as this moto went on, that's where I started to realize that I was getting tired, because, oops, stay on the track there, because I started to notice that, like, I wasn't charging through it very hard. I just was kind of rolling through the throttle, and I mean, I had it earlier in the day. This section here, I was trying to seat bounce to that third little roller there. We'll call that a triple out. This corner started getting really pushed out right here, and in the moto that Yates and I did after this, which you can see Brandon over there in the section in front of me, we really blew that corner out and had to start cutting in. I really like riding behind other guys, and, you know, a rider like Brandon, because, dude, he just dumps the gas and kind of rides like RC used to, and just works his way, you know, around the track with, he has really good style, but he is not afraid to just rip the throttle and bounce from one side of the track to the other, and it makes him really hard to race against. Made a little mistake there. Again, I'm starting to get tired, so, like, if I'm not just absolutely nailed down on my techniques, I'm gonna start making tiny little mistakes, missing my line, missing a rut, missing a downshift, not braking correctly. And it's situations like this where towards the end of your moto, I only have about 3 minutes left here. Towards the end of the moto, you really have to focus. You know, a corner like this one here, you just have to get set down early, squeeze that bike with your legs, get your foot out, and power through it. And that takes a lot of technique and a lot of thinking about what you're doing. Same thing with these rollers. Again, like I said, I was trying to triple out of that thing, but as my moto went on, I just didn't quite have the core strength to seat bounce the bike the way that I had to. And so I just went with the safe bet and started doubling. Towards the end of the moto, whenever you do start to get a little bit tired, practically the best thing that you can do is back down your pace but continue riding. So if you're riding it, let's say 95% pace during your session, go ahead and bring it down to about 90, 85% and continue hitting your marks and hitting the lines that you want to hit. But you really need to play it safe, because whenever your endurance goes, your strength goes, and your ability to hit your lines and scrub jumps correctly like this, you know, if I did that out of control and launched off of that single with like my 1 foot off because I wasn't squeezing the bike correctly, it would prove to be a pretty bad deal. Alright, so I look down at my watch again, see that you know, I'm about 13, 14 minutes into my session here. And so I make the decision, okay, I got 2 more laps or so to go, and I think I ended up doing 2 more laps. And that's, you know, I know, okay, 85% for the rest of the moto, roll the throttle on smooth, let's try to hit all the lines perfectly, avoid the little bumps that are there. Yates is pulled off. He started about a lap before me. He hasn't been riding a lot, so he's just getting back into, you know, doing endurance motos. Plus, he's, you know, was a 250 guy for a long time, and he's riding 450s now and exclusively. So, you know, you got to think also a 450 will tire you out a lot more than a 250F. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm on a 250F here, and you can ride a 250F for 30 minutes a lot easier than you can a 450. Another thing about a little thing about the bike today is on these KTMs, the motor mount bolts are, whenever they go into the cylinder, or the head, I should say, or no, the cylinder, excuse me. Those bolts, I just had one that stripped out of the side of the cylinder, so I was feeling a lot of engine vibration in the handlebars just by having one bolt missing, and it's the little head stay on the side. It's not even one of the major bolts. So, you know, I can feel a lot more vibration out of the bike, and you know, it definitely was affecting the way that I was riding. But, you know, I knew what the problem was, and so I just had to accept it and, you know, take it. There's Brandon. He's cheering me on. He knows that I'm towards the end of my moto because I told him I was only going to ride for about 15 minutes. And, yeah, so thanks for joining. You know, I'm Jeff. I go by Rippinruts on Instagram. I really appreciate you guys watching. Please subscribe to the Creo KTM channel. We're really trying to build this thing up, and the goal is 10,000 subscribers by the end of the Supercross season. And once I get my riders riding for me and we're fully raced out, you'll be getting onboard footage with them. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you soon.